for those of you who this is your first chat, definitely post your questions as we go, and we'll go ahead and answer them on the fly or as it makes sense. Ryan will sort of be co-pilot with answering questions and so forth. So the agenda today is mostly to review the upgrades. As I mentioned in the email last week, we pushed the first of a series of very major upgrades to our system. Some of them are sort of behind the scenes and for performance reasons. Others of them are bug fixes and so forth, and then others actually introduced. I'm going to focus on those new things and how they impact you today on this particular call. So the homepage was the very piece to be completely rebuilt. To be honest, it looks the same as it did before, although it should be a little prettier in certain areas. But I'm going to cover that upgrade. Talk about the upgrade that we did to the calendar and directory. Ironically, it's not the same type of upgrade that I was referring to. In this case, has to do more with how search and so forth works and how all of the events and directory listings are pulled out. We're going to talk about the sidebar and site modals. So the sidebar is on the right. Site modals, not all of you use, but hopefully more of you will. It's a great way to get a specific message out there. There's a couple miscellaneous items, and then we'll give you an idea of what's coming next and how we're prioritizing these. Of course, we're always open to input, as well as suggestions for new features and capabilities that we should consider or highly prioritize. And then a couple quick tips, completely unrelated to the tech, but just more little tidbits that you can put into play to either grow traffic or you name it. So with that, I'm going to dig right in. The homepage is mobile responsive. It is the first of the pages to be mobile responsive, and it's part of this upgrade I mentioned. So it's been reorganized. There's a new mega menu. There's a new again, we're still using some of the basic practices, and much of the look is similar, and so you'll see ongoing iterative upgrades to those, but this is sort of a new format, really highlighting the homepage, calendar, and directory on mobile, although you will see some refinement happening there. Be aware, because there's literally a different technical template homepage than the rest of the application, you may see some subtle differences in the menu, as in your administrative menu, as well as just little things here and there. As we continue to go through, every additional thing that we update will sort of adopt the new format. So you'll see it move over to this general alignment. You also now have the ability to edit the homepage if you're a site admin. More specifically, edit the structure. So we introduced the ability to modify the structure a few weeks ago, but you had to go through us. Now you can do it. If you're an admin, you just go to Manage Site, and you'll see an option for Homepage. You can update the elements. So if you want to have your embed just below the carousel, because you have some call to action, great. You can reorder this by clicking, dragging, and dropping. The Homepage embed is just a simple text area. You can put whatever you want in there. Video. You could put a questionnaire or content of any type. You could even do custom HTML. So if you wanted to drop a form in or something, you could do any of those things. The featured categories, the number of articles to display. So this is one of the newer features where, in addition to the feed on the homepage, you can show a number of articles related to any categories that you mark as featured, and this is where we can say how many. Obviously, one's the minimum. I don't think or some maximum, but I wouldn't go beyond, say, 6, or it'll slow down the homepage. And then the directory search. So some of you, the search on the homepage for the directory, it says you had your free listing. If you click hide the directory search, it will disappear there. So some great new capabilities that you have on your end. I'm going to continue and talk about the directory. The biggest difference at the moment here is the move to using geography and geography based on latitude and longitude behind the scenes. We see it as zip code and distance from a zip code, but we've done what's called geocoding, and that means every event and directory listing has now got a lat and longitude, and it will for new ones being created. So we've set up a default centralized zip for each of you, and a default that searches will use both in the calendar and the directory. Please check these. If you don't like the or the default zip. We can change either of those for you. Just let us know. A couple really cool things about this is that, if you have multiple sites in close geographic proximity, you can share. In fact, every event in the Locable database is now accessible on every site. And so as we do more and more to pull in events, whether it's from other publishers or third-party or whatever, people can access them. So where I'm at here in Folsom, I'm about 100 miles away from Lake Tahoe. Maybe we get some events going in Lake Tahoe. Someone wants to search for what to do over the weekend and go and check out Tahoe. That was not possible before, and any sort of travel now accommodates that. A little note here, we use a third-party service to do the geocoding, and it turns out that some portion of events and directory listings were not geocoded correctly when we ran it over the weekend. Don't know why, but we're looking at using Google to update that. So if you see some are missing, that's it, and we'll get that rectified very shortly. Unfortunately, Google has a limit of 2,500 a day, and we've got 40,000 of each, so it may take a few days. But we'll start with the most recent and work backwards, so 3-year-old events in our system won't be negatively affected. You're going to see some more refinements to the calendar and directory, including moving to the new template that I mentioned, so there'll be more mobile coming there, but this was definitely the biggest structural undertaking. Definitely welcome feedback. We're had lots of capability before, but it wasn't as simple as it needed to be. So we want to get your feedback, and if there's anything else we should incorporate, that'd be great. Oh, one other note on this. You notice that it says in the keyword search event title, we are going to expand in the next few days the search to search actually a number of things, the description, tags, etc. So anything people put in there will be returned when that is completed. All right, moving on to the sidebar. Sidebar is not used all that often, and so for many of you, it's sort of once a month. Every publication cycle is. If you're online only, it's perhaps less than that. Once we set it up, it's just there. But there were some inconsistencies in browsers and just some inconsistency in general. So we rebuilt it from the ground up. Before it was all drag and drop and so forth, and we removed some of that because some of that was causing problems. So now you'll see more clicking. So click to add a new embed field. Embed is if you're going to put a sign-up form like the MailChimp form you see in this example. Static would be an image or text, and you see that in the lower right. In both cases, you'll click to add. If you want to reorder, you can still do that, but it's going to take a separate click up on that reorder sidebars, and you can do that in an extra step. It should make it much more robust for you. One thing to note, because we're moving towards this new media library, when we rebuilt this, we took out image uploading. Technically, there was a really good reason. I don't want to get into it, but we took out image uploading from this page. So for the moment, until the media library is done in the next week or two, you're going to need to upload any images that you want to up here somewhere else. You could do it on the article page, for instance. Just upload it there, and it'll be accessible. Then you can grab the image URL and put it right in there. I recommend getting the medium size, or if it's one that you've created to be just the right size, the original. We'll have more details on that in a tutorial that we post. And if you have any questions, let us know. But we're really trying to simplify some of these things, especially since you don't use it very often. We want to just bake it down to the basics. So it's really simple, and you can do it, and you can forget it, and you can move on. On the front end, there's not really any difference. It's still presented the same way, although actually it's going to load much faster with this update. Site modals. So in putting this up here, I'm looking at this going, I probably should have shown you a site modal. So let me, well, rather than do this on my computer since I'm on the move here, a site modal is that overlay on the site. So you can promote, generally we use them for contests, maybe subscriptions, etc. So we rebuilt this. You can schedule the start date, and it's really simple. You pick a title that's just for you to keep track of. You pick a file. That should be a design that you've created, not just some random image, and a destination. Where should that person go when they click? Make sure to include the http:// part, and then you create it, and you'll find that you've got this manage modals interface. In this case, you can have multiple saved, but only one running at a time. You'll notice there's an activate button. If you haven't defined a start and end date, activate will try to turn it on right now. if you define a start and end date, Activate will serve to basically turn on the schedule. So if the start date's in a week, it'll turn it on when it gets to that time. And it'll turn it off at the end date, run and run. Do know you can't have more than one running at a time. So it'll try to respect the start dates and end dates and so forth. And I recommend you don't set it overlap. It should handle it gracefully, but funny things happen when you have overlapping dates and only one can be handled. So you never know. Also, the way the modals work is it's shown to people one time and it disappears. There was a little inconsistency that was happening there before. That should be rectified here. However, if you activate, deactivate, activate, each time you reactivate something, it serves to restart that clock. A couple of miscellaneous upgrades. Jake, who you see here, posted an event. Requested previously that we give you the ability to make an event featured from the front end, so you don't have to go find it in the admin. And that's just what we've done. So you can see this event's been promoted, or rather featured. And so now, from the front end, you can delete it, you can clone it, and you can feature it. So there's a lot of capabilities. The only thing you need the back end for, actually at the moment, you technically don't need the back end for anything. You can get to event exports from the main navigation, but there will be some new capabilities coming in the future, giving you the ability to syndicate, hide content if you don't want to show some events or so forth that are sort of in the database. And the other is the ability to use a home icon instead of text. By default, we use today. Some of you use other things. But the home icon is just nice and clean, and frankly, it saves you some space. So if you were running out of space for your nav bar, it'll free up a little bit, and we can either use larger font or it just fits better. So if you're interested in that, let us know. We do have to make that change on our side for you. So what's next? So the article upgrade to go along with the homepage upgrade is well underway, and this is going to affect a lot of things actually. Creating and editing an article, commenting, all of these things are part of this rebuild, so it's actually quite large. You'll see it's a faster interface, pages load faster, it'll make them responsive, it'll introduce the library, and at that point the media library will also appear on the sidebar. And there'll be some improved commenting. Some browsers were having issues with the commenting system, old browsers in particular, and that should also be resolved and here. From there, we'll apply the upgrade to the calendar and directory, mostly to make it more mobile friendly. But you will see some other performance improvements, but we'll see it. Then we're looking at improving the main site search. So right now, if you're searching articles, we don't really have a search engine for that. It just searches the database. Technically, those are different things. And so we'll implement the search that we've got for the calendar and directory, and it will give you a lot more capabilities on filtering and showing reviews, showing results based on different aspects, right? Is it in the title? Is it a tag? Is it a whatever? So that will be following on. And then a couple other things that are sort of infrastructure, some upgrades to our credit card processing. And one of the benefits to this is that you'll have the ability to sell upgraded directory listings without requiring a credit card like you do today. So you can build them online and you can upgrade them in the admin, and then we'll reconcile that separately. And then the ad server migration. We've been talking about this for a while, and we're excited about it to give you more capability to post. We're moving to a system called Broadstreet, which is really well aligned for us. And we're just waiting for them to get us some stuff that we need to do that migration. That'll be those two items will be weeks to months, whereas the others will be kind of a couple weeks. Okay, moving over to quick tips. So I definitely recommend that you use MailChimp for your email newsletters, and you start adding in the embed area email enrollment to articles. You can do this very simply. It's a step, but we saw that we've dramatically increased the enrollment rate when you add it to an article. Someone's reading an article, they're like, hey, this is cool, I want more like this, and there's have us email you for more like this, and they go, okay. So you can drop right in at the end of the articles. We are going to build out an internal newsletter system, but it's going to be probably a couple of months. Pretty excited about where it's going and what it's going to look like, but for now, this is a great way to do it. I'd also encourage you, as you're posting content, most of your content people or organizations or a combination of things, let them know that it's published. Post it to their Facebook page, and then encourage them, their best interest to pat themselves on the back. Maybe even they should link to it from their own website, in the news or whatnot. This is going to be great for you to drive traffic and SEO and so forth. We are looking at adding the ability for you in articles when you're referencing someone to notify them straight from that interface and have it link back. But we're still working out the kinks in terms of what will that functionality look like and how will it work so that it's smooth and easy and so forth. And then on content ideas, we've been talking a lot the last couple of weeks about different places to go to content, different ways to get community involved, different ways to do a lot of things to grow your web traffic. And so wanted to suggest that you look at Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, profile on them. What does it mean to be a scout? How has it changed? Who gets involved? How does it work, etc. I've got a 6-year-old, so I'm starting to think about these things. So it's personally interesting, but it's also a nice, easy piece that fits nicely into the editorial calendar stuff we've talked about. Likewise, local football, Little League cheer. These activities they have lots of parents and participants. They're always looking for publicity, and so if you reference them, they're going to that fact to their participants, and that could do a lot to help drive more traffic and engagement. Again, many of those people own businesses, they're going to create the directory listings, and all of a sudden now you're filling your funnel for the sales side. So it's now what you see here is a snippet on the right from the updated editorial calendar. On the top, you see a series of sort of general, we're always interested in these things, right? Meetup groups, events. But then also we identified some things that we're specifically looking for now. It's summertime, teachers are out of school. Maybe we should highlight some teachers doing with their summer break. In Mansfield, there's this thing called the Firefighter Games happening this week, so it's sort of a big. Likewise, we want to highlight any community service professionals, restaurant owners, local athletes, favorite DIY projects. So there's a lot of things that you can look for. So let's put it on there. That way also when you reach out to an organization, you can link them to this page and they can go see what you're up to and what you're looking for, and it becomes this virtuous cycle. And when you do this, also templates, whether you're generating an email from an RSS feed or your newsletter, include some references to at least a couple of these items and a link out to this page so that you get more and more people coming to you with content. Why not community do the work, do the heavy lifting for you? And then you're in a position to post that content online. And just to wrap up, we've had some really good luck. We're creating a nice little playbook on curation, some best practices, some rules of the road, all of these things. And so we're going to be working on that guide and checklist. And so in the next few weeks, we'll hope done and available for you. So all the stuff we've been talking about in these videos will be in a nice PDF that you can utilize. So with that, we are done with the items I wanted to cover today. I want to make sure that we answer any questions that you have, either about the new technology or anything else as it applies to what you're trying to accomplish with your business.